Hi guys, Ross here and welcome back to another video. So today we have something slightly different for you. We're not going to be doing a tutorial, but instead I have a time-lapse / breakdown of this piece I made around about a year ago. And we're going to be going over the modeling, the lighting and the texturing, and it should be really insightful in kind of seeing my process and just seeing how I built this scene. Of course, this is a snippet from Patreon, so if you want to watch the full video, you can do that over on there, but today I just wanted to bring you a snippet of this process. Really excited to share this with you. So I'm going to stop waffling and let you guys crack on and enjoy the video. So I will catch you on the flip side. Enjoy. I've recorded a process for this render I made recently. I just posted this on Instagram. It's kind of this remote working building in the middle of the cliffs by the ocean. I'm super inspired by Off in Barcelona, which, if you guys haven't heard of, is a lovely design festival which is hosted in March. Actually, I think it's going to be in April next year, but it's around March, April every year. A lot of people go to it. It was awesome. I got to meet a bunch of you guys that actually are subscribed to the Patreon, which is awesome, and meet some other people that I've worked with or spoken with online. So it was a super inspiring event. But anyway, this was kind of inspired by just the landscape of Spain. I was also in Tenerife the week before, so it's kind of a combination of both of them. Actually, where it directly came from was I was in a taxi driving around this roundabout, and there was this building, like a big open glass building, and it was kind of cliffs all in the background, and that's where it originally came from. But yeah, it kind of got mixed in with a bunch of other inspiration from Barcelona and Tenerife. But yeah, I thought I'd record the whole thing, and this is something that I actually do for a lot of my projects, but I want to start sharing them because they're just sitting on my hard drive taking up space. So I thought, you know what, I may as well turn it into a time lapse, share it with you guys, and hopefully it would be of some use. So it's about 20 minutes long, which hopefully is a good enough time for you to actually kind of see what's going on. I'm watching it on my screen as I'm talking, but hopefully it's good enough speed for you guys to kind of see what's going on, maybe learn just, I guess, the process of when I'm building something like this. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what's been going on. I've just been off for the last week. I was at Tenerife the week before that, kind of just getting away from the computer for a little bit. I've just been working non-stop, as I'm sure everyone else has been as well. So it's good to take a break sometimes and go out and leave the house every now and then. Went to Tenerife, got some sun, which was really overdue because we've been having grey skies for as long as I can remember here in England. It was really nice to kind of get out and be able to soak up the sun, soak up the scenery, go down to the beach and the ocean. The same with Barcelona. It was really good to do the same. And actually, some of the guys that I met there, we went for runs in the morning, which was amazing. Just some 6K runs just to run down to the beach, run along the coast, and that was super inspiring and kind of made me want to start thinking about remote working and how I can get something set up in terms of how I can work in different countries for even just short periods at a time, just so I'm not kind of constantly in the same room, which I think also helps a lot with inspiration and coming up with new ideas, just because you'll be soaking in new environments. So that's something I'm trying to figure out at the moment. I think it sounds like, from people I've spoken to, and obviously when I posted this, I asked in the caption about if anyone kind of knows the best solution to this. I think it sounds like it's going to be getting like a decent laptop and then remoting into my home PC and doing it that way. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe start looking at getting a decent laptop so that even if I can't remote in, I could work on that locally. Yeah, like I said, Off was super inspiring. Hopefully I'll see more of you guys there next year. It was great to meet some of you guys and have a good catch up, because sometimes online, it's like, even no matter how much you speak to someone, there's still that disconnect because you don't know who they actually are and you don't know who they are in person. So it's always good to meet people in real life and actually see each other face to face. So it was super good, and I'm going to get my ticket soon because I think they go on sale April 3rd, the early bird tickets. So I'm definitely going to grab that, get it locked in for next year, and that'll probably just turn into a yearly thing, which I do. So if you didn't get a chance to go this year, I would highly recommend it. It was a really, really good time. Lots of great people doing talks there. And just overall, just a really good vibe just to meet with other people and soak in all the creative energy of all the designers there. So yeah, so that was that. I don't think anything else really exciting has been going on in my life. Just trying to strike a balance between work and play, I suppose, because I've just been so deep in some pretty big projects recently that I've kind of haven't had the time to get out. So that was part of the reason of Tenerife and Barcelona, to get out of the house. So always trying to work to create that balance. Always very aware that I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do that, and to be able to kind of pick and choose when I do want to go and take time away from the PC. So I'm always very grateful for that situation. But I think that's pretty much everything. So I guess I can kind of talk about this piece. Yeah, so a lot of it's using mega scans, as you've probably seen by now. A lot of the Grand Canyon assets, which I've color corrected because they come in originally quite orange. For me, it just wasn't really the vibe I wanted. I wanted something to feel a little bit more like clay almost. And recently I've actually been using the 8K versions of the assets. I find they've got a bit more fidelity to them. Before I was just using 4K for everything, which is fine, but if you want to start doing close-ups, the 4K isn't going to hold up. So now I'm just getting as high resolution as I can, and it does make the projects a lot heavier, but you get that extra bit of detail out of it. I'm then using Forester to scatter onto these cliffs, and I'm also using vertex maps to be able to kind of paint to where the scattering is, because in Forester, in the multi-cloner, under the filtering tab, you're able to drop a vertex map into that, and you can really kind of just brush where you want the scattering to be. This was really just to stop it from scattering within the building, because I was seeing kind of like bits of the grass come through, so I was trying to avoid that. Same with the trees, so that way I could really kind of art direct where the trees are going to be and have a lot more control over it. What you'll notice is in the viewport, obviously there's no leaves on the tree, and even when I'm doing the progressive rendering, there's no leaves. Again, that's just to keep the viewport speedy, but what happens is when you do the bucket render or you do the final render, then you get all the leaves from the tree come through. So keeps things quicker whilst you're working on it, and then you can kind of do the final tests every now and then just to see how things are looking. That's, I guess, the best way for me to approach it. Then the water, there's nothing fancy going on here, and actually I talked about this in the hideaway video previously, and I am thinking to actually do a new video on an ocean shader, because a good friend of mine who I believe is actually signed up to this, Nick, if you're watching, thank you very much. He shared an article with me about ocean shaders. Someone that built one in Rhino, I believe it's called, in V-Ray, and it's kind of just going over all the principles of an ocean shader, what makes it look good. I actually rebuilt it in Redshift. I posted it on my Instagram story the other day, so I'm probably going to do that. It's just going to be like one of those quick tip videos, hopefully, where I just kind of go through building a good ocean shader, and then you can just put that into your content browser and just use that. But one of the things that I found really helps with the realism is using the depth parameter, because that way you can actually see through the water, but you can control how far you see into it. So you can really create that sense of depth and like the water getting deeper the further out you go. And you can add like a secondary like transmission color, which just again helps to add to the realism. So that's what I've done in this particular piece. And at this point, I'm just working on the building, because originally I had quite big plans for the scene. I was going to like do an interior shot, have it zoom out, and then like kind of build like a little 10-second animation from it. But it was just so heavy with all the assets and the trees that even doing a super low res test took like an hour just to do like 60 frames, like super low res. It was like 240 pixels by something. And I was like, this is going to take days and days to render this out. And to be honest, I actually started this when I came back from Tenerife, and then finished it when I came back from Barcelona. So I'd been working on it for a good amount of time, and I just wanted to jump onto something else. So I just settled with the still version, and I may animate it in the future for the portfolio, for the website. So you might see that at some point, but for now, just kept it as the still. But as I was saying, I started to work on the building just in case I wanted that interior shot. Yeah, that just helps to kind of add a little bit of extra detail and little bits of nuance somewhere in the piece. But what I'm using here is a plugin called Hot 4D. I've known about this for a while, but I thought they stopped making it available after like R23 or 24. But when I went and actually looked on Gumroad, they had updated it to 2023. So I bought that. I think it was like 20 quid potentially. I can't quite remember. But it basically just simulates like a realistic ocean with like all the waves and the details, and you can generate like foam masks for the foam on the water, which I haven't tried yet. But this just added a little bit more realism to the ocean. And actually now what's happening, because we have those kind of waves, is that we're getting those lovely kind of bits of bloom reflecting off the sun, and that's just helping to add a whole nother layer of detail to the ocean, and just adds a lot more of like a dreamier feel to the piece, which is kind of what I was after. So that was super helpful. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely go and have a look at it. It might be useful. I need to explore more about it and kind of what I can do with it. But what you're seeing here is again just me building out the interior. I'm using Dimensiver for pretty much everything. I think I think that one lamp, which is currently outside the building, which I do move inside eventually, which is called the Cesta lamp. I believe I got that from a website called Bow Models, which is an amazing 3D models website. It's quite unheard of as far as I'm aware, but they do really good high quality models and they're really, really affordable. I think it was like €5 for that model, and I've already used it a few times. I've used it in the Hideaway, used it in this one, so definitely getting my money's worth out of that. But yeah, just building the interior with some models here. And what I'm actually doing is I'm taking it into a new project file because it was getting super slow in the main kind of render file. Bringing the building into an empty file just helps keep things a bit quicker, and that way I can just iterate and update things without waiting like a few minutes between each move. That definitely helps. And also I just copied over the same lighting setup just to see how it would actually look inside using the same lighting from the final render. So thank you guys for watching this video. Like I said, this is a snippet from Patreon. So if you want to watch the full time lapse where we then go on to talk about post-production and just really finessing and tweaking the textures, then you can go and check that out over there. But I just want to say thank you for watching the video and supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot. So enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.